Okay, this is the second attempt to this video. Hi, this is zandyNO, and I was coming on to give you an update on what's going on with me and the baby. I am not going to do a labor and delivery story right about now. I'm just going to give you an update about what's going on, simply because so much has went on and is still going on. Um, and I didn't want to just not give you a video or an update. I've been real hesitant about it because there are people who are on here who are still pregnant and are people who are trying to get pregnant. And the things that I have to say were not things I knew um, up on delivery. I didn't find out until my baby was born. So I'm not doing this to scare anyone or to discourage anyone, just giving you an update on what's going on with me and my family. Um, my baby was born 5 pounds 13 ounces. Her name is Layla Camille. Well, we're just gonna say Layla Camille. We're not gonna give my last name. And she was 5 pounds 13 ounces, 18 inches long. Upon birth, she was delivered by C-section, and she was born at 5:07 p.m. November 3rd, 2010. Upon delivery, basically, um, she wasn't breathing well. She wasn't breathing well on her own. Or rephrase that. She was breathing on her own. She was just having a hard time with breathing on her own. They told me not long after delivery that she had a short jaw and a cleft palate. She has a cleft palate in the back of her mouth on the soft tissue. She doesn't have one on her hard palate, and she does not have a cleft lip, just a palate. The cleft palate being located where it was making her tongue, and her jaw being short, it was making her tongue fall back into her airway, which was cutting off her air supply, and she wasn't able to breathe like she needed to on her own. At the hospital where I delivered my baby, they do not have a level 4 NICU or a real extensive NICU, or put it that way. So they were able to do monetary things like they put this thing in her mouth to hold her tongue forward, and it was wedged between her to her gums, so that she was able to breathe, which worked for her at birth. Like I said, she didn't have a lot of hard times breathing. It was just when she was positioned in certain ways, she couldn't breathe well on her own. So they shipped her from one hospital from where we live to another hospital where we live, and because they felt that they couldn't give her the care that she needed. So they took her to this other hospital, and she was there for 4 days. Now, given to you that I did not find out my child had this condition or this situation until she was born. And I think it was like an hour after she was born when I actually knew what was going on with her. Then they shipped her off the same night to a different hospital. I'm in her one hospital and she's in another, which was pretty devastating for me. Then they released me a day early from the hospital because my doctor understood that I had a baby that was sick and that I needed to be with her. So for 4 days of her life, she was in a different hospital at the same time. The same town where I live. No one could give me answers, really and truly. They just can tell me what her condition was called, which is peri-Robin sequence, where you're born with a short jaw, and by your jaw being short, it can make your tongue fall into the back of your mouth. Well, it also comes with a cleft palate, which helps the tongue fall back into the airway and keep you from being able to breathe normally. At the other hospital, they kept her in the prone position, which is on your stomach, most of the time, because that was the only way that she can really breathe. My child at 2 days old was suffering or having such a hard time breathing on her own that she literally lifted her body up off the bed and her head so that she can try to position herself to get some air. And every time I would talk to a doctor, all they can tell me is that on Monday we're going to call Children Mercy. On Monday we're going to call Children Mercy. So I cried literally every day, all day long, because no one can give me no answers about what was going on with my baby. You as a parent automatically figures that, well, something's wrong with her, that you were at fault, um, because it's your child. You carried that baby for 9 months. You never think about the fact that the father could have an aspect, the environment can have an aspect. It's just, you just look at the fact that you are the mother and that you did something to this child. So that was devastating in itself. Um, Sunday, November 7th, um, my baby just couldn't tolerate it anymore. They were only giving her oxygen in her nose and a feeding tube down her nose to feed her. But she couldn't tolerate not being having a tube down her throat anymore. So she literally started to breathe and breathe really hard, to the point my husband said she had started to turn purple, because I literally couldn't watch her suffer. I just cried the whole time. I just couldn't sit there and watch her suffer. So they had her air vac to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, Missouri, and that's where we are now. Um, since the day she's been here, I've cried since she's been here. I can't say I haven't cried at all. I have cried, but it was not to the extent when I first found out what was going on and watching my child suffer every day. Um, I don't like the situation that she's in because she has that tube down her throat, and my child doesn't like the situation she's in because she's normal besides her situation. So she still does things that regular babies do. So her being laid up in that bed and being incubated, I think that's the way you pronounce that word. If I'm wrong, correct me. Um, she um, and she's more alert now. So it's like, she wants to pull out the tube. She wants to pull out the feeding tube. She really doesn't like that stuff on her. When we first came here, they ran a battery of tests. The only test that we haven't gotten back is the chromosome test. And if she does have a chromosome abnormality, we will, we'll do what we got to do. But I don't think that she does. We pray a lot. We pray a lot. And I mean, at this particular point, that's all you really can do, because you personally can't do anything to help this child. You can't fix the situation. You can't change the situation. So all you can do is pray and pray that things go the way that they're supposed to go. She's been in the hospital for 2 weeks of her life. She's been here 2 weeks. So she's been here 2 weeks and 1 day. And she's been in the hospital. On Tuesday, November the 22nd, my baby will have surgery where they will take screws and put in her jaw to rotate her jaw forward and to put it into normal position. Once she have this surgery, the goal is to move her jaw forward, which means her tongue will move forward, and that will unblock her airway and she will be able to breathe like a normal child. And then after that, we have to work on feedings, because she probably would need a special bottle to feed on because of the cleft palate. Like I said, I did not make this video to scare or alarm anyone, just to let people know who's been asking me how I'm doing and how's the baby doing. Just answering some of the questions that's been going on. I'm not as upset as I was. I don't want my baby to go through surgery. Nobody does. But I'm in a better place than I would have been 2 weeks ago. Actually, it's been kind of hard for me to even watch videos on YouTube because of my situation. And it's nothing, against the people on here. It's just I was going through stuff on my own. And I just really couldn't watch the videos. I've just been able to bring myself to even watch videos on YouTube. So I'm at 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any comments or questions, just inbox me and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you and God bless.